Good morning. Welcome one and all to our worship service at First Unitarian Society of Ithaca. Here we gather, nurturing our connections, seeking inspiration, and embracing the warmth of the coming season. My name is Kimari Johnson, and I am your celebration associate today. Thank you so much for joining us. Those of you who are here in person, and those watching online. It feels especially good to be together today. Please check our website for more information about how to create connections. If you'd like to receive updates describing opportunities for engagement, please email a request to office@uuithaca.org. Newcomers are especially invited to visit our website and complete a newcomer form on the homepage. Our service this morning is being live streamed from our sanctuary in downtown Ithaca and will be available for later viewing as well on our YouTube channel. Our speaker today is Peaches Gillette. Peaches is an educator, an ordained chaplain, and a published poet. She has worked with battered women, veterans, the mentally disabled, and the incarcerated. She served as a tri-chair of the Eastern Southern Tier of the Poor People's Campaign and currently sits on the Tompkins County Human Rights Commission. Peaches says her most transformative education occurred in two ways: by experiencing the harshness of racism she faced as a child growing up in Brooklyn, and by being raised by a mother who did not allow the ugliness of racism to diminish her sense of peace, her love of others, or her faith. For today's announcement, please note that there will be a congregational conversation today about the proposed 8th principle. It begins at 12:30 p.m. in the annex and on Zoom. The Zoom link can be found in your midweek announcement, which was emailed on Wednesday of this week. Materials related to the 8th principle discernment process are available at the welcome tables and in the parlor today following the service. At this time, I'd like to invite Emily up for another announcement.
Good morning. You might be able to smell it through your masks this morning, but coffee is brewing, right? So as a reminder, we are asking everyone to keep their masks on until 10 minutes after the service has ended, and then the space that we are welcoming you to remove your masks and have coffee is in the parlor only, or if you'd like to go outside into any of the shared outdoor spaces. Please remain masked in the sanctuary and any of the other spaces in the building. And now it is my great pleasure to welcome your Board of Trustees President, Don Barber, up for a board minute.
I thought this was going to be easier and not take my hearing aids off, but so much for that. So, good morning, everyone. And I have to say it's my pleasure to be in the room with Peaches. Heard so much about you, and I'm so glad to have you here with us. And I had another surprise this morning, and the reason why you have to come every Sunday is because when I came into the church today, Martha Ferger was there to greet me. There's all kinds of surprises here at FUSIT, so you don't want to miss any Sundays. So this past year didn't turn out the way we anticipated last summer. The pandemic raged on, preventing us and then restricting us from gathering in person. and their interim minister experience was trying instead of healing. As you know, the board and the minister share or partner minister leadership. The board became to an understanding that with the departure of Reverend Margaret and with Reverend Tony, who didn't become engaged, we would need to rethink who the board partners with in partnership governance. The board created and appointed a governance committee and tasked them with developing an organizational structure that was resilient to ministers coming and going. And because it endures, even when we have a minister, we would have in place a support structure for the minister. During this discernment process, we came to recognize that you, our congregation, are our enduring strength. This new structure includes members of our congregation in these leadership teams. Specifically, the board has adopted a new structure with 2 teams, an operations and administration team, and a ministry and visioning team. I won't bore you with the details right now, other than that in addition to lay leaders, the minister or a staff designee will be important parts of these teams. So some of you may know that the UUA encouraged FUSIT to adopt partnership governance. But both the UUA and the board recognize limitations of the initial structure that we put together. So you may find it interesting that in conversations with Reverend Renee Rachutsky of the UUA about this new structure, she is quite impressed with our proactive approach and said we are doing cutting-edge work which she feels will be valuable to many other congregations that are coming up against not having a minister. While this new structure may all sound all well and good, most of you want to know when we will have a minister. So I want to start my comments by saying that the celebrations team and staff have done an amazing job this year pulling together outstanding presentations and inspirational messages. Would you join me in thanking them? So with that said, and thank you for that applause for them, the celebrations and staff have both told us that they will continue until we have a great minister with us. But they've asked the board to explore finding an inspirational spiritual leader. So on February 20th, we convened a congregational conversation to learn from you the most important functions of a minister. That information helped the board create a ministerial fulfillment committee. This is a search committee with a couple of caveats. Due to the timing of our search and the limited number of UUA ministers in search for either settled or interim positions, a ministerial fulfillment committee will have flexibility in this process it uses to locate potential candidates. Please note that the UUA is aware of our process, and the Ministerial Fulfillment Committee will notify them so that they can alert any UUA ministers that our search has begun. I want to thank Magdalene Lindenberg, Sue Rakow, Margaret Nichols, Betsy East, Scott Grover, and Annie Turner for stepping forward to find us a good fit. But there is a glitch. So we won't have enough money in this upcoming budget to hire a full-time minister within the UUA contract guidelines. With our new operations and administration team and our ministry visioning team structure, we are open to finding a spiritual leader who will work part-time, which may create an opportunity for local talent. This part-time minister would be responsible for spiritual leadership and pastoral care. If it comes to be that the minister is not full-time, we will ask operations and administration team to manage those functions. While this seems like a lot of change, it is true because we have experienced a lot of change. The board and its advisory committees have talked this through and feel this different direction creates opportunities, creates FUSIT's resiliency in times of transition, like right now, and allows the Ministerial Fulfillment Committee the flexibility to find a great fit without a lot of strings attached to their work plan. So I want to close by thanking all of you for your steadfast commitment to FUSIT during this time of steady transition and your unwavering support. Thank you.
And at this time, Mary is coming down to help with our chalice lighting this morning. And please join me in saying the chalice lighting words. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. Today's opening words were chosen by Peaches Gillette, and it is a poem entitled Our Divine Purpose. Our divine purpose. It is our relationship with those around us that illuminates the darkness and gives us light, so that who we truly are is unobscured. It is the community of love and companionship that gives us a chance to hope, to dream, and to feel the warmth, meaning, and prevailing purpose of our existence. We can see within and without more clearly in the presence of others, for they ignite our souls and illustrate how we are not alone as we move along the path of our spiritual journeys.
Before we begin our first hymn, I wanted to give a huge thank you to Sandra Wayman, who is filling in for Stephanie this weekend. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your music with us, Sandra. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in our opening hymn number 20, Be Thou My Vision. Be thou my vision, O God of my heart, not be all else to me save that thou art. Thou my best thought by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. Be thou my wisdom and thou my true word. I ever with thee and thou with me, God. Thou my soul shelter, thy my high tower. Raise thou me heavenward, O power of my part. Riches I heed not, nor world's empty praise. Thou my inheritance now and always. Thou and thou only first in my heart. Sovereign of heaven, my treasure thou art. Good morning, friends. Today is May 1st, also known as May Day or Beltane. Our theme this month is nurturing beauty, and I thought it would be fun to add some beauty together to our sanctuary this morning. So you may have noticed the pillar behind me looks rather festive this morning, and many of you may have even guessed what it is that I have planned. So May Day and Beltane celebrations are an ancient tradition that is believed to have originated in Europe and honors the spring and new growth around us. It marks the midpoint between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. Dancing around a tree or pole is not simply a European tradition, but has been shown to span multiple regions with historic evidence tracing it from Rome to Western Europe to India, Latin America, and Northern Africa. These festivities have been going on for hundreds, perhaps even thousands of years, and are still a part of many current-day communities' spring celebrations. The symbolism of the maypole is up for debate. Some scholars believe that it once represented the world axis. Some that it is a remnant of the Germanic and Norse reverence for sacred trees, or that it is a symbol of fertility and the celebration of the coming summer months. Today, maypoles are still parts of spring festivals all over the world, including many modern pagan celebrations of Beltane. So I'm going to invite some friends up now to join me in a maypole dance here in our sanctuary. We have 12 ribbons, so I'm going to need at least 12 participants. And if we had more than 12, I think some of our older participants could help some of our younger participants. But come on up, because we can't do it without 12 people. All right, I'm going to switch here. All right, how many people do we have? I think I do need you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm still short a lot of people. We're gonna, come on up. I know you're so graciously waiting to make sure that all the children have a ribbon. Yeah. Yep. So make sure everyone has one ribbon. Everyone have a ribbon. All right. So there's a white one over here. I've got a white one. Oh, and there's that other bluish green one. Does everyone have a ribbon? All right. So we're going to take our ribbon with our, you want this one? Yeah. With our right hand. Hold it in your right hand. And then you're going to hold the excess in your left hand. Right? So you're going to have the ribbon here in your right hand, and then you're holding the rest of it in your left hand. And we're going to do a couple of things with this, and I'm going to invite Jonathan up, who's going to play us some Beltane music. So there are a couple of different ways that we can wrap our maypole today. And we're going to start with a really simple kind of dance and wrapping, and then we're going to unwrap, and we're going to do something called a grand plate. Maybe. All right, has everyone got a ribbon? Doubling up is great. Doubling up is lovely. Go ahead, Jonathan. He's going to give us some music. So the first thing we're going to do, friends, is we're going to really simply walk towards and away from the maypole. On 4, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yep, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We're just going to do that again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, back. Forward, 2, 3, 4, and back, 2. All right, so now here's where we're going to wrap it. And we're just going to wrap it by walking. I know, we have a little twist here. We're going to go right like this. So we're just going to take our ribbons. We're all going to face in this direction, right, with our right hand with our ribbon and our left hand holding the excess. And we're just going to wrap it. Yep. And then once we get to the end, when we're all wrapped, we're actually going to turn around and we're going to unwrap it before we plate it. Are we ready? All right. Here we go. Just walking this way. Yep. And we're just going to walk, not getting ahead of the person in front of us. I love the beat here. I hear Guthrie's keeping the beat. And once we do this, we're going to unwrap it. So we're going to wrap it all the way up. You got it. All right, are we getting? Yep, and you can let some of it out. So that's what your left hand is for. If you need to, you can let a little bit of it out as you go. All right, we'll go around a little further, and then we're going to about face, and we're going to unwrap our maypole so we can plate it. You got it, you got it. All right, let's pause here. So now everyone's going to turn. We're going to turn around, and we're going to come back the way we came until we are unwrapped. All right, is everyone, I think everyone's ready. Let's make sure that there is no ribbon around ankles. All right, are you ready? Here we go. We're going to unwrap it. All right, and let's walk. I see some of you have done this before. Some of you maybe not. All right, so when we get back to the point where we're right under where our ribbon is, we're gonna pause. Perfect, so now here comes the actual plating. So what happens is we're going to turn and face a partner. So why don't you two face and you two face, yep, you got it, you two face each other. What's going, oh, here we go, great. So now if you are facing clockwise, I'm gonna ask you to take a step in towards the pole. So you're gonna stay out, yep. Here you go. So if you are facing this direction, you're gonna take a step in towards the pole. Can I help? Yep, you got it. Yep, you're gonna go this way. Okay, so then the other ones, we're gonna take a step. You're facing this way, we're gonna take a little step out. And now here comes the fun part, where we do our little dance and we plate the maypole. So you are going to go every time, right? In and then out. So I'm gonna pretend that I'm Beth. If I was Beth, I have my ribbon, and I'm gonna go under this ribbon, but then the next person, I'm gonna go over them, and I'm gonna lift my ribbon up, and I'm gonna step to the left, and then we're gonna step to the right of the next person. This is what's gonna happen right now, maybe. All right, let's try it really slowly. Do you understand what you're doing? So if you're on the outside right now, and you're facing this way, the first thing you're gonna do is you're just gonna walk on the outside of your partner. But then suddenly you're gonna have a new person, and you two are gonna switch right in front of each other with a little X. And you're gonna go under the next person. All right, are we ready? Jonathan's gonna give us some music, and we're gonna see how this goes. All right. All right, here we go. Under, and then over. Yep. Yep, you got it. So you gotta go this way this time. There you go. Yep. And this way this time. You gotta go this way. Oh, yep. You got it. And then you go up and around. That's right. Lift it up. Lift it up. Oh, you got it. Lift it up. Oh, look, it's braiding. That's right. Now go in. Go in. This time you go.
Do you know if you're going under or over?
It's fine. So remember to wait until the next person is there with you. Don't get ahead of people. Look how beautiful our maypole looks. Oh, there you go, yep. And now you're gonna go under the next ribbon, Allie. Yep, there you go. You've got it. You wanna go under the next one as you go? That's right, pull it up. Yep, you got it. Look, we're gonna go up, oh, and under. Look. Oh, I see a pattern emerging. I see a pattern emerging. Then we got it. We got it. We just needed a little chance to try it out. You got it. It's working, yeah. All right, we're gonna stop when we get down to the bottom, when we get to the part where it becomes square. And remember, you can let out some of your ribbon. Are you stuck? There you go. You got it. We're almost there. We're gonna tie it off and leave it.
I'll go under. Yep, I don't know. I think we lost our pattern, but
All right, I think we've made it to the bottom. Can we give our friends up here who wrapped our maple a huge round of applause this morning? Yeah, you can. Thank you so much. You can put it right down. Thank you.
adult child.
That's fine. Thank you all for creating this beautiful maypole together in the sanctuary this morning. May it bring beauty and joy to this space and this community. A very merry Beltane and blessed be. I would love to invite Don Barber back up now, and I would also love to invite up the new members who are here with us today for the new member welcoming. I'm going to turn your attention to your program with our new member welcome words. Come on. I'm going to have, can you stand right over here for me, all of our new members? Isn't this exciting? Today, we are celebrating a joyous occasion here for the First Unitarian Society of Ithaca. We are having our first in-person new member ceremony in over 2 years. We have with us an amazing group of people, some who are fairly new to our community, and some who have been with us for quite some time and have just decided that now is the time to officially become members. We also have some individuals who joined over the past couple of years, but were not able to experience being welcomed into this community here in our sanctuary. Ours is a community of transformation, and that includes within our membership. As we continue to grow and change, we will have people come and go. We will have babies born into this communities and members die. We will have members of our community leave us and new members join at all stages of life. Do you want?
Today we welcome, is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. Today we welcome these new members into our faith community. Jessica Brown, Tim Ball, Lydia Dempsey, Margaret Smith, Phil Terry, Tom Coakley, and Kathy Wolf.
So there are some words in your orders of service, which do you have enough up here to share? Here. So we're going to start with the new members, and then the congregation will respond, and then all of us together will speak those final words. So I'm going to invite our new members now to speak the words written in the order of service.
We enter this faith with hope and possibility in our hearts, pledging to participate in and support the ministries of this congregation. We covenant to remain true to the spirit of love that flows through this congregation and guides us. Receive your welcome as we join you in this faith.
And the congregation responds, "We welcome you, as once we were welcomed ourselves. We seek to be open and inclusive, respecting your inherent dignity, your ideas and your vision in times when it is easy and in times when it is difficult. We seek to be supportive, not only when you reach out in courage to us, but also when you need us to reach out to you. In return, we ask that you recognize our humanity. We will not always live up to our ideals, and when we fall short, we invite you to stay in relationship with us and help us more fully bring alive the spirit of love. We welcome you as an equal member of this congregation, of this faith, and of our shared spiritual journey. All together now. As we continue to live into our covenant with one another, we do so with joy, friendship, and hope in our hearts. May we create connections, find inspiration, and engage the world together. We have for each of you a rose, a symbol of the beauty that is joining in community together, and the growth that you bring, enriching us with your many gifts.
With roses? Okay. So all of these individuals here have signed our membership book and are now officially members of the First Unitarian Society of...
Oh, are you off?
How am I doing now? Well, it's good I had a chance to practice these lines. All the individuals here have signed our membership book and are now officially members of the First Unitarian Society of Ithaca. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Here you are welcome. Here you belong.
Hi there. Good morning. In a spirit of reverence, love, and care, we now take time to bear witness to some of the joys and sorrows of our community. It looks like today we have all joys. Our auction fundraiser was off to a good start, with most vendors selling at full value. Today is the final day for you to support this event. Marie will be in the parlor after service to show you how to bid or to answer any questions. Our dear friend Martha Ferger is back in Ithaca. Here she is. She's living at her daughter's house, and I understand, Martha, that you are enjoying the cards and notes. And to all, please continue to bring Martha this joy. The address is 9 Coventry Walk, Ithaca. And to Martha, we also did receive, the Joys and Sorrows Committee received this message from one of our previous ministers, Dick Gilbert. Some of you may remember him. He says, as your settled minister from 1965 to 1970 and your interim minister from 2003 to 2005, I came to know John and Martha Ferger rather well. I still receive the newsletter so I can maintain some contact with the church I loved and still love. Last week, I read that Martha Ferger experienced heart failure and was living with her daughter and son-in-law. The latter was my doctor for a time. I'm not sure how to reach them, so please send my loving concern to Martha and her family. Thanks, Dick Gilbert. We have today as well 2 appreciations. We are starting an effort to announce appreciations, adding this to our collective joys. If you know someone here at First Unitarian Society of Ithaca that you have noticed doing something above and beyond, someone who may be a quiet, unsung hero, or is doing an exceptional job, a staff member, a congregant, or a friend to our community, please add this category to your thoughts when you think about submitting a joy. Let us sing praises to the many people who make our community the wonderful place it is. You could send your submissions to Joys and Sorrows at uuithaca.org. We'd like to thank Magdalene Lindberg. Magdalene has kept the Celebration Associates team running smoothly during the last few years, and she puts in more time than anyone realizes. Let's give. She's on other teams as well, and we are blessed to have her in our congregation. Thank you, Magdalene. Okay. A thank you also to Rachel Seymour, our sexton, who has been doing a deep clean in the church rooms, including shampooing the rugs, polishing all the woodwork, and washing the inside and outside of windows. I know, I feel tired just reading all that. In addition to the regular weekly sexton tasks. So to Rachel, thank you for keeping the church clean. For those we are holding in our thoughts, in our hearts, and perhaps in our prayers, let us now call out these names out loud into this community, into this space of healing and hope. We extend loving kindness to all our world, and let us not forget to extend loving kindness to ourselves. Today, tomorrow, and beyond, may our hands be outstretched in kindness, and let us keep showing up to our lives and each other with an open heart, no matter what. Love and courage to us all. Blessed be and amen.
Each week, we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. The giving information is shown in the order of service. For those watching remotely, the text number and website will appear on your screen during the offertory music and in the information below the live stream image on YouTube. Giving to the plate is important. It's a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of this church. So please take a moment and give through either the text option or the giving button on the church website. If you are attending in person and would prefer to write a check, you can place your offering in the box by the door when you exit after the service. Please join me in saying the offertory words printed in your order of service. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond. And now I'm pleased to welcome Peaches Gillette.
Thank you. It's really nice to be here. I am moved by everything that has been said and has gone on, especially watching everybody wrap the maypole and unwrap the maypole. And I actually got so excited I almost forgot what I wanted to say, but I'll try. I want you to bear with me for a minute because I'm going to frame a concept, and I want to frame it in the way that I framed it most of my life, that in the context of our experiences on this earth, the darkness is equivalent to suffering and to death. And death comes in many forms. Death is not just about our bodies. It's sometimes about our minds, our spirits, our inability to love or to give love or to receive love. It is a way that we end up broken in this world. Self-hate, vengeance, all of those things that make us crippled and unable to move forward in the way that we want to. When we talk about peace in this world, we're not really just talking about peace externally. We have to find peace within ourselves because we are the ones who bring peace. It's not a magic trick. It's something that we have to put forth in this life. When we get consumed by darkness, it is very hard to find those kind of elements in ourselves. It's difficult to see past it. It's difficult to understand it, and often we get absorbed by it. One of the ways that this came to me more poignantly is I have a friend, Tommy Beers, who has taken on this project called 1,000 Conversations. And what we do is we interview people and ask them if you can project 35 years down the line and the world is at peace or better, not perfect. Tell us how we got there. What were the steps that we took to get there? When I first joined Tommy on this project, I thought, hey, this sounds great, right? Kind of simple, right? And that's because I live in a fantasy. But as we were speaking to people, most of it brought pain to people because they couldn't project down the line a better world. They couldn't see it. And that really hurt me. And it hurts us. Because often if we can imagine something, it's like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they'll come. If we can imagine something, maybe we can make it happen. And the fact that we can no longer imagine a better world is a crisis. And it's a crisis of our spirit. And it's a crisis in the world. And it's a crisis that affects all of us. Because my loss of hope is your loss of hope. Your loss of hope is also mine. The existence and the purpose of the darkness, I can't figure it out. I look at this world, I look at the suffering, I reflect on my own suffering, I look at people starving, what's going on across the planet, what's going on in the Ukraine, and I'm thinking, what in the world is all of this about? What are we supposed to get from this? What are we supposed to do with this? Perhaps in knowing the darkness and feeling how it drains us of life is a way to deepen our compassion and to make us never forget. Perhaps the pain over our own suffering and people's suffering is a way that we never stand indifferent to anything. Perhaps this devotion that we feel toward others because we see their suffering is a way of crystallizing our faith in things beyond our own control. I don't know. I think that most people ask that question, what is the purpose here? I know that at times we get deeply lost. I have friends, good friends, who are depressed, which I feel is a manifestation of darkness. They are hopeless, suicidal. And when we become that, when we become absorbed by the darkness, we really serve little purpose for ourselves and for other people. If you think about it, in this dark world, And there's some of us still out there fighting for life through the work that we do for justice, for equality. We're fighting for life through the work that we do on the environment. That's what we're doing. If we all stopped doing that, if we think that the world is dark right now, you could imagine what the world would end up being. Even if we are simply holding our finger in the dam, it is worth it so that we are not flooded immediately by the ugliness that darkness comes. Most of us haven't even experienced the kind of darkness that can be set forth in this world. We hear about it. Some of us have. But when we think about our own suffering and we compare it to the things that go on in this world, it is really unbelievable what human beings can do to other human beings. It really is. And it pains me, and I know it pains you. I don't believe that anyone, sometimes when I talk about the light, like the sermon is, how do we find light in the darkness? People think that I'm denying the darkness, that I'm not taking it seriously enough. How could I talk about something as simple as light when all of this darkness is going on? There's no question in my mind and in anyone's mind that the darkness exists and the darkness is hurting and killing us. Long before our environment collapses, we will destroy one another by our lack of love and by our indifference to one another and by our constantly standing in battle to one another, by our making people hate themselves through racism or classism. We will all be dead. We will just be the living dead. We will be walking around feeling drained of everything that we remember as being life. And that is the worst state to me to be in. And I won't give up. And I won't stop talking about the light. And that's what I want to share with you today. I know that we regularly feel defeated. I know this through conversations. I know it by cynicism. I do it myself. I think, oh yeah, forget it. That's not going to happen. And maybe it won't happen. Maybe it won't happen on a global scale, but I know it could happen here. I know it can happen when we walk out these doors. I know that we can smile at somebody or kiss somebody or hug somebody and bring life back into their souls. And if we can just keep doing that, maybe in the meantime, we can figure out bigger ways to do this. How are these things possible? How is all this ugliness possible? Genocide, war, racism, torture, the abuse of women and children, the abuse of animals that don't even do anything to anybody. There's something in us that needs to be undone that makes us treat the world this way. But this is the part I love, that in spite of all of this awareness, all of this consciousness about the ugliness in this world, we're still here. We stay alive. We fight for what we believe in terms of making this world a better place. I'm always fascinated by that. I remember as a child, I think I was about 11, I actually saw a man fall out of a window from a 4th floor story. So it was close. It was devastating, of course. The sound of it will never leave me. But I also remember everybody on the block on 7th Street in Brooklyn running to his aid. And he was beyond hope. I even knew that as a child. But it didn't matter. Everyone came and they put their hand on him and they stroked him and they tried to love him back to life. And even if they couldn't do that, they touched him with their own life in their way of saying goodbye. That is amazing to me. We are amazing creatures if we could just use that to the benefit of everybody. I'm always amazed at when you watch those films with animal rescues and there's a little dog stuck in a river and the whole forces come around and they're all hooked up and rigged up and there are helicopters there and they're saving this little dog. That's amazing to me. Why? because we know that life is amazing, and we know that life is important, and we don't let go of that even if we forget it every now and then. And I love that about us. It is, to me, our biological and physiological nature to be connected to life. We spend so much energy not only living, but actually reproducing life. Not only through having children, through making art, through singing, through poetry, to having events like this. All we do is touch life. All we do is reproduce life because we are so in love with it. And we cannot forget that. And this is the great part, that because our natural position in this world is to be in relationship with other people, we love life for other people. We love life for strangers, like the man on the sidewalk who fell out the window. If we saw somebody trip on the sidewalk, we'd be like, oh my God, let me help you. That's a way we touch life again. And we cannot forget, we cannot stop doing that. That's what my worry is. I don't want us to stop doing that. I don't want to lose that relationship with you, and I will never let you lose that relationship to me. I will always be there. I will always be smiling. I will always be putting my hand on you. I will always be helping you feel life again, because I think that's part of our spiritual job, is to do that. If we don't do anything else in this world, if tomorrow was the last day on this earth, I would still be doing that today. If we look at both life and death as radiant forces and understand clearly how everything we do is actually predicated on it, our worries, our feelings of despair, our being in relation to other people, our love for other people, our love for our children, our love for even a physical space, it's just all this is life. All of this is energy. So why not focus on that energy that keeps us all going? Not the energy that depletes us of life, but the energy that keeps our life moving. This realization came to me more so when I worked in prison. So when I was in chaplain training, they send you into prison, and one of the things they tell you is, when you go in there, try to find God in that space. I want you to know that when you walk into a prison, it is almost impossible to find God. I have never been in a place that felt so ugly in my life. You look at the faces of these people, young, old, whatever they did or didn't do, they are suffering, they are imprisoned, their freedom is taken away, which means that part of their life is actually taken away, because part of our life works better when we have freedom. The first woman I met in prison, her name was Elizabeth, and she told me that she admitted that she committed a crime. And she told me that she wanted to die, but she was afraid of dying because she thought she would go to hell. And I thought, what am I doing with this? What am I doing with this story? How am I supposed to what am I supposed to be bringing her, for God's sakes, in this? I, of course, sat with her, and I did my best to comfort her. What I asked her is about what her God was like to her, and was her God the kind of God that would punish her eternally in hell? And we had a nice conversation based on that, but when I left, I thought, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know why I'm in here. I will keep going back, and I will hope that I figure out, but I had no idea why I was there. There is no hope there. Somebody has life imprisonment, the word hope doesn't arrive for them or for me. But what I realized was that I didn't have to go into that prison and find God. I actually brought God with me. I brought life with me. I brought light with me into that prison, and I didn't have to look for it beyond myself. All I had to do was share it with this woman, and she would see it. And she did see it. And we held hands across the table, and we passed that beautiful force of energy back and forth, crying and laughing, playing games and eating. And I thought, this is what we're doing. We have such an amazing power within ourselves to help change the world. And if we could just focus on that and really use it, and I mean in great detail, I don't mean like you go out and you fight for social justice and then you go home and you kick your dog, okay? We have to be consistent in what we're doing with every relationship that we have to the best of our ability. It will not be perfect, but it will be to the best of our ability, and that's all we have. That's it. And I believe that if we all do that every single day of our lives with everybody we come face to face with, every way that we can, even people that you think or consider or that we're taught or conditioned to believe are our enemies, if we can do that in some small measure, touch the humanity in somebody else, if we can, then do it. And I'm speaking from a position of a 62-year-old woman who has seen some nightmare stuff when I grew up in terms of racism. I happened to grow up in Park Slope, Brooklyn, which was a white neighborhood. My mother was one of the few black people there. I've seen her spat on. We were called nigger every day of our lives. We were treated like trash. But the amazing thing about my mother, I have no idea where she got this from. She had me when she was 50, so she was older, and I didn't get a chance to talk to her as an adult because she died when I was 20. I have no idea where it came from in her, but she constantly taught us to love people. She always told us there's an expression called hate the sin and not the sinner. She always taught us that, and it stuck with me. It didn't necessarily stick with everybody. My brothers had a harder time. I had a brother who was almost stabbed to death in a race riot. I had a brother who was shot on the sidewalk and killed while the police stood over him making jokes. So I'm not somebody who came from a world that was easy, and I'm still telling you that I still believe in you. And I believe in love, and I believe in our human connection, and I believe that we can light up the world for one another. I wrote a poem for this woman that I mentioned called Elizabeth Holloman, who I met in prison, and I'd like to read it to you. One of the other feelings I had when I walked in prison is like, wait a minute, these are the people I was taught to stay away from. These were the people I was taught to run from. These were people I was taught were all bad no matter what. Didn't matter whether they were railroaded into prison, they were just bad people. Now, my mother didn't teach me that. The society taught me that. So I kept figuring, so what do you do with this person? How do you love this person? But I fell in love with her, and I wrote a poem for her. It is written in the form of a sonnet. Who is this exiled woman that I see, locked in behind the coldness of these bars? Her brokenness begot her guilty plea, a tragedy of chronicles and scars. Who is this lonely one that I have found, a way to understand and love somehow? Her darkened past of hate and acts unbound, my heart and mind should shun her and disavow. Her life beneath the sparkling barbing bars illuminate internal prison doors. Her anguished, mournful heart, her dreams expired, her life of prayers that time somehow ignored. This woman who I see and gently hold, set free to live in peace within my soul. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Peaches, for just those moving words this morning. I would like to invite you all to rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn. It's number 10, Immortal Love.
Immortal love, forever full, forever flowing free, forever shed, forever whole, a never-ending sea. Our outward lips confess the name, all other names above. But love alone knows whence it came, and comprehendeth love. Blow winds of love, awake and blow the mists of hate away. Sing out, O truth divine, and tell how wide and far we stray. The letter fails, the systems fall, and every symbol waits. The Spirit overseeing all, eternal love remains.
I seem shorter now, right? So I found these closing words that I really love. Light up the darkness. When darkness surrounds you, you might be tempted to look for a switch of hope, and a light comes on to get rid of it all. But you have to remember that you actually are the light, and you have the power to overcome the darkness for yourselves and for others, all of the darkness that exists in this world. Light up the darkness. Bob Marley.
Thank you all. As we extinguish the chalice, we gather the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action into our hearts and carry it forward into the dawning day. Go now in peace.